Welcome to Validate the Idea. Here we're going to discuss a little bit about how you take your idea for this excellent business that you have and turning that into what could potentially be a profitable venture, or giving you the opportunity to refine and retool it just a little bit so that you can get well on your way to becoming a successful entrepreneur. With everything, this takes trial, review, and opportunity. So let's be sure you're on the right track. We'll start here with a quote from Bob Metcalfe. Here's the difference between a visionary and an entrepreneur. Both have visions, which are a dime a dozen, but an entrepreneur has, in addition to visions, plans, and in addition to plans, action. So let's get started on your journey. And while we're here, be sure to take a few notes. We'll talk about some things you should think about, you should decide, and that you should do that will increase your odds of a favorable outcome. Let's get started. With everything, this takes trial, review, and opportunity. So let's be sure you're on the right track. We'll start here with a quote from Bob Metcalfe. Here's the difference between a visionary and an entrepreneur. Both have visions, which are a dime a dozen, but an entrepreneur has, in addition to visions, plans, and in addition to plans, action. So let's get started on your journey. And while we're here, be sure to take a few notes. We'll talk about some things you should think about, you should decide, and that you should do that will increase your odds of a favorable outcome. Let's get started. So let's get started with things to think about and decide. As you're on the brink of budding your idea into a perfect business model, let's take a step back and make sure that we're on the right track. You have to remember, people don't buy ideas, they buy products and services that solve a problem or fulfill a need. So, the first question you should ask yourself is, what problem are you trying to solve? I'll give you a hint. You'll need this information later because we'll have an activity. So think about your idea as a project or experiment, not as a business first. And as you're playing around with your business idea, ask yourself, who does this problem I'm trying to solve impact? Or who are the people who have this problem? You'll know you have the right idea when your enthusiasm is not driven solely by your love for the idea, but by the love for the people who will eventually buy it. Next, decide how much time and money you can devote to the idea. Money is an important factor in building your business. So decide what has to happen and by when for it to continue. What would it take to kill the idea for you to cut your losses and move on to another idea? Or you really have to think about, if you're working full-time, what you'll do to make sure that you get your business and idea off to a great start while you're still working your full-time job. That balance between life, business, and work. So that leads the question, what's the reality? Do I have all I need to make this work? How am I going to pay for it? And how much would I expect others to pay? So now you've got to decide on that thing that makes it unique or better, and then be able to articulate that in 15 seconds, for example. So, is your idea simple? Will people get it? If you have to take time yourself to figure out how long it takes to explain your idea, it just may be too long. So jump right in and think about what's that pain point, again, you're trying to alleviate for your customers. Why hasn't anyone else brought it to the market? And if they have, why is yours different? What's your competitive advantage? Let's review and put into practice some of the questions discussed during the Things to Think About It portion of this training. The innovative canvas will allow you the opportunity to put onto paper the problem that you're looking to solve for the customer group that you're interested in solving this for, as well as identifying what your solution is. Using this canvas, take the opportunity to put down the background conditions supporting the idea or the motivation behind putting together this idea, following through with the questions, and ending with what is the description of the idea or the product that you've come up with. This innovative canvas is an opportunity for you to write, review, vet, so that you can walk through the validation process and bring your idea to life.